everybody, welcome to another Flaming Dice Reviews video. My name is Matt.
And my name is Sergio.
And today we're going to be taking a look at the top 7 games that we're excited about that are coming out at Essen this year, 2015. Now the way we got to this list of 7 games is Sergio and I both went through the Board Game Geek list of Essen Spiel 2015 games. We individually and without consulting each other made up a list of the games we were most excited about. If any game was a crossover and on both our lists, it was included. And it turns out that 4 of those games were a crossover. So we'll get to those in a moment. The other 3 that we added to this list, we just conversed back and forth, tried to convince each other about the merits of each game, and that's how we came to the top 7.
Alright, so the first game on the list is Ashes, Rise of the Phoenixborn. It was designed by Isaac Vega, one of the designers for Dead of Winter, and it's published by Plaid Hat Games.
I have been really excited for Ashes, Rise of the Phoenixborn. It's releasing in a core set, which is going to come with 6 Phoenixborn, which are kind of like your commanders from Magic the Gathering Commander, if you're familiar with that. It looks familiar enough that I think it will appeal to regular players of collectible card games and trading card games, but different enough that it kind of speaks to me, whereas I don't really care for Magic the Gathering anymore. Yeah. It's gotten a little too complicated. I tried getting into it a couple of years ago, just couldn't do it. So I'm kind of looking forward to this one. I've got high hopes for it. The art's great.
It's mechanically different.
Yeah, it's got the separate deck for conjurations. Your Magic the Gathering creatures are allies in this game, and they come from your regular draw deck, and then you have your conjurations, which come from a separate deck. Right. So if your cards from your regular deck produce a conjuration, which I guess is kind of like an instant or a sorcery in Magic the Gathering, you know, like put 3 1/1 goblin tokens on the board, you have a separate deck for that. And even though mechanically that's not groundbreaking, I think it's still cool that you build your deck that way, or you have the 2 separate decks. The artwork again, fantastic.
Excellent.
Same artist that from Dead of Winter.
Yeah. Don't they also have the first 5 mechanic? Where you choose your starting hand?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is another big difference. Whereas in a lot of card games, you get your first hand randomly. You get to choose your first 5 in Ashes. So that's just another thing that I'm excited about. And on to the next game. Now the next game on the list is 504, published by Stronghold Games. 504 is a very unique and different looking strategy game that's made up of 9 different modules. Every time you play the game, you get to choose 3 of those modules, and it makes a completely different game. I believe the name comes from there being 504 different possibilities of game combinations. Do you remember any of the game combinations? I know there's racing,
Race was one, yeah.
Stock trading,
yeah,
oddly enough,
the random things.
Military, pickup and delivery, and some of those really sound cool, like maybe like a racing military game. Exploration's another one of the modules. Some of them sound kind of weird.
It seemed like you could put together a combination that might not necessarily work or end up being less fun.
Like a stock trading racing game, like that just doesn't even.
With a pickup and delivery system, it's
right. I'm excited to see how it turns out. It definitely sounds interesting, and I'd be curious to see, how the game plays with those unusual combinations.
Right, it's kind of double-edged. It might be awesome that you can have all those different combinations. It might really suck.
Right, exactly.
So.
And the game comes with a lot of different pieces. Some of them don't look too terribly visually appealing, much like Agricola. But, I try not to judge a game strictly on how it looks. I've got high hopes for it. I really do.
It looks like a giant Catan board to me.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, exactly. Which, of course, Catan is a classic for a reason, so we can't knock it for that.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's definitely one that I'm interested in trying. So I'm looking forward to learning more about the game myself.
Yeah, see more about it.
The next game on the list is one that I have been extremely excited for, and that's Blood Rage. Blood Rage was designed by Eric Lang and published by Cool Mini or Not. They always make great stuff. And Guillotine Games. I was aware of the Blood Rage Kickstarter. I didn't back it because I kind of went on a backing spree at the time, and it was a little bit expensive, so I didn't get in on the Kickstarter. I wish I had, because it had some really cool miniature exclusives. The theme, of course, is Vikings. It's Ragnarok, the Viking apocalypse, basically. And the whole point of the game is to kick as much butt as possible before you die. And have you seen the miniatures from the game?
I've seen a few of them, yeah, just what was on their Kickstarter. But it looks pretty, the art styling looks pretty promising.
Yeah, they have fantastic art for the cards, great miniatures. Like I said, Cool Mini or Not, they always do a great job.
Zombicide, was excellent.
Conan.
Right, that's what initially got me excited about it, was, my favor towards Zombicide.
Yeah. It comes with the miniatures, again, done by Cool Mini or Not. You have your Viking leader, your Viking warrior, your Viking ship, and you use those to attack other players and manipulate the game board. There's also a card drafting mechanic in the game.
Right, it plays over 3 rounds, the game does, and you draft every round. They call them ages or something.
Yeah, I believe I did read that. You have influence from different gods, so you might be Thor's chosen or Loki's chosen, and they have different outcomes depending on who your god is. So I believe I read that Loki has an ability that the loser of a battle, actually, or scores or wins or something.
It's negative for the war, negative towards the winners.
Right, exactly. And Thor, of course, just powerful, gives you an advantage in battle, stuff like that. Super excited for that. I really can't wait to try Blood Rage. It's been getting a lot of really good reviews, just from, I think everybody that's played it has loved it. It's really, really going to be a classic, I think. Now the next game on our list is Scythe, and Scythe was designed by Jamie Stegmaier and published by Stonemaier Games. Now you are really excited about the artwork.
Yeah, I was immediately drawn to the artwork because of the theme and the artwork. I love steampunk, so anything steampunk really sits well with me, but it's very gloomy and downtrodden feeling to the art.
Yeah, it is a steampunk alternate history Eastern European post World War I universe.
Yeah.
So it's
alternate 1920s.
Right, exactly, and all of the artwork has a scene that you would picture from Eastern Europe or Russia in that time period, like farmers and stuff in the foreground, and then these giant mechs in the background.
Right.
And the artwork is just so unique. There's really no other game that looks like that.
No, not at all.
Because any game that has mechs is usually very futuristic. So, there might be destruction or something, but not that kind of farmy, countryside, European look to it.
Well, and even any else that's steampunk, it's really more cartoony in its styling, and this is very realistic artwork.
Right, yeah, very, almost photorealistic, cartoonized a little bit.
Definitely.
But, the game is supposed to be very unique in its mechanics and its gameplay, like a lot of games that have upgrades that are available to you. Not only do you, or in this game, not only do accumulating upgrades matter, the order in which you get them matters. There's a great video by Jamie Stegmaier on the video. It's on the Scythe website, and he goes into a lot of the mechanics, and it's a really good, even though it's an older video, it really does a good job of explaining the game. One really cool thing was that resources, instead of like a lot of games when you conquer a territory or gain resources, it's moved off of the board and into your player area. In Scythe, it stays on the board. So hoarding resources is dangerous because it's at risk of attack.
Yeah.
So I think that was really a really cool mechanic. But despite the game being just very, very appealing as far as mechanic-wise, the artwork is really just what does it for this game.
Yeah, thematically, it seems very interesting.
Yeah.
I'll be excited to see how it plays in real life.
Yep, me too. So next on our list is another miniatures game, Conan by Monolith. I backed the Conan Kickstarter back in, I think it was March or April of this year, and I've been getting more and more excited about it ever since. The miniatures are amazing.
Yeah.
The game comes with just a ton of miniatures,
Right.
Especially if you backed it on Kickstarter. There were some Kickstarter exclusives, but there are also some stretch goals that added it to the base game. So if you didn't back the Kickstarter, don't worry, there's still going to be a lot of really great miniatures. A lot of opportunity to paint, because as I understand it, they're going to be coming unpainted, like a lot of miniatures game. That's par for the course.
Absolutely.
The game comes with 2 different boards, and they're double-sided.
Right.
So all the scenarios that come in the base game will play to those different boards, those 4 sides. Another really cool thing about the game was that it was so successful on Kickstarter that they went ahead and made a lot of expansions. So I think once the Conan base games drops, it won't be long before we have more scenarios to play, because I didn't get any of the expansions. Like I said, I was kind of on a Kickstarter spending spree at the time, so I didn't get any of the add-ons, but I do regret that.
And at the time, it was the most successful Kickstarter of all time, wasn't it?
Until Zombicide Black Plague, was that the one that took over?
Plague.
Yeah, like a month ago, or
Yeah,
2 months, something like that. So it was the most successful board game
Yeah,
Kickstarter of all time.
which is impressive.
Oh yeah,
You know.
oh yeah, it was.
That's what we're talking about here.
And I'm not even sure that it's not the most successful of all time, but I know it was the most successful board game.
Yeah.
Kickstarter until Black Plague.
Well, and it looks promising. It looks to play a lot like Descent, that light RPG board game.
Right, just like Descent, in Conan, one of the players plays the opponent,
Right.
which is like the
Like the Overlord.
the Overlord
yeah.
from Descent.
I think they
exactly.
might even call it the Overlord in Conan.
I think they call it opponent,
Oh, okay.
but I'm not sure. I read that somewhere, and that kind of got drilled into my mind. It could be Overlord, but I think
Right.
it's called opponent, which didn't seem like a very imaginative name. But and I could be crazy. Maybe I didn't even read that. I don't know. But anyway, one player controls the bad guys. It comes with a lot of custom dice, a lot of really great looking miniatures, a lot of scenarios, and the way that players take their turns. There's like a turn order board, kind of like Mice and Mystics, but completely different.
Right.
And you can spend different points to manipulate the order in which characters go. So it's going to be very, very unique gameplay. And like I said, when it drops, there's going to be a lot of possibilities, expansion, especially when the expansions come out. So Conan and I've been looking forward to that since the beginning of this year, and I'm really, really looking forward to getting that.
All right. And the next game on the list is Above and Below by Red Raven Games.
I have been following Above and Below for a long time. If you remember on the website, I posted whenever it was on Kickstarter, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe that wasn't that one of the Kickstarter report articles.
Yeah, definitely.
I have a memory of about 5 seconds, so you have to fact check me sometimes. Yeah, it was on one of the Kickstarter report articles that I write on Flaming Dice Reviews, and I've liked it ever since then. Looks to be a pretty unique game, and the artwork is definitely nothing to laugh at. It's different. It's not great artwork in the sense of the other games we've mentioned so far tonight, but it is still good artwork.
Yeah, it's a calm kind of feeling to the artwork, like very peaceful.
Right.
You
It's almost like Imperial settlers zoomed in.
Right.
You know,
With like no emotion.
Right.
Yeah.
And in the game, you play a founding member of a village, I guess
Yeah.
would be the term, and you're trying to, the goal of the game is to build the most unique village.
Right.
And the game, or the village, can be above ground and below ground, hence the
Yeah.
name. And you control different villagers, and these villagers have different skills. You could send them to gather resources
yeah.
and stuff like
Explore
that.
the caves. And
Right,
whatnot.
right. Mount expeditions to go down and explore the caves. And that was one of the coolest things about the game, was that during those expeditions you have encounters, and it'll tell you like which page of the rule book to go to. and what happens.
Because it's got the storytelling aspect to the game as well. It'll favor imagination, I imagine.
Right. It looks great. Like I said, I've been excited about Above and Below ever since I put it on the website for the Kickstarter report, and I'm looking forward to trying it and learning more about it and playing it.
So the last game on the list is Pandemic Legacy, and it's published by Z-Man Games.
Pandemic's a classic.
Yeah,
A lot of
definitely.
expansions, and this is besides the little offshoot like dice game, the dare I say watered down versions of Pandemic. No offense if you like the Pandemic, the Cure, and the little dice game, but it is a little bit watered down, I think. Maybe it's just different. We'll just go with different.
Right.
It's just a different game. This is supposed to be Pandemic, the classic, but in legacy format. So it's got an ongoing campaign instead of the game restarting every time you play it.
Which gives lasting impacts to the choices you make. And
Right. So it's supposed to be that choices you make whenever you play, because I think the campaign starts in January and goes to December, so like 12 different
I think so.
campaigns, and the choices you make in January might affect you in February, and February affects March, and so on and so forth. The map can change, so different cities can be lost. I think they could probably start with more cubes,
Right.
disease cubes. You know, if something happens in the previous month, then it's a little bit harder to save that city in the future. I believe each city has about 5 different little spots on the board instead of it just being the city like it is in Pandemic, the regular game. There's 5 little, it looks to be about like that, 5 little emblems, and I believe you can put stickers on them as different events occur. Characters, the difference in the characters abilities, like they can kind of
change.
level up,
Yeah.
if you will, or they can die.
Supposedly.
Yep. So the game is supposed to really change. If you're familiar with Risk Legacy, it's the same principle. And I know in Risk Legacy you can gain different upgrades depending on what choices you make. Like if you level up, you can choose for your army to be able to do this or do that, and you're supposed to throw away the things that you don't use. And I don't know if Pandemic Legacy is going to do the same thing, but one way or another, the game's going to change for future sessions. And one thing that I've been curious about, and I haven't found this in my research, is how does the last campaign play? After you finish December or the last campaign, can you just pick it back up and play December forever,
Right.
or is that copy kind of done? I'm not sure. There's a lot of questions about Pandemic Legacy, including the colors. There's a red and a blue version, and as I mentioned in an article recently, there's a lot of questions about that. Now the contents on the Z-Man Games website, they're exactly the same for red and blue. Some people have said that it might be a language difference, but they both appear to be printed in English, looking at the box cover. What I read, somebody said something pretty smart, and I tend to agree with them, is that they think that the different colors are, if you have 2 copies of the game, you want to play one with me and Sean and Trevor and Jordan together, and then you have another gaming group, you can be like, okay, Matt, the game I'm playing with you is blue, the game I'm playing with them is red. And it just, so you can make different choices with the different colors. And they just have
separated, I guess.
I guess it keeps you from having to put a post-it note on there,
Yeah.
to keep it separated. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Or maybe it's just for if you're more fond of red than blue.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, well, we'll find out soon. I'm sure if you stay tuned after Essen or at Essen,
Yeah. If you're
then
there.
you'll find out. You just go up there and demand an answer.
Yes.
And then let us know in the comments. Because
Yeah,
I'm
'cause we
curious.
wanna know.
I've been searching. I can't find it. I don't know what the difference is. I think it is just strictly aesthetic. But
I think it's a
I'd be
good
wrong.
question though. What happens in December?
right.
Well, and if you've ever played Pandemic, what does happen in December? Because one round of Pandemic is just punishing.
right.
So if January is hard, I imagine February is going to be worse.
That's one thing I've been concerned about is if the game does get, steadily harder, maybe that's the point, is that you'll never want to play it again by the time you beat it.
Right.
Maybe you can play each level, multiple times. I'm sure you can.
Imagine
Probably
a scenario where your medic dies though in
Right.
February.
Right. Who knows?
It's over.
Who knows?
Yeah, anything could happen.
We'll find out. We'll find out soon. Well, thank you so much for watching. That's the end of our games from Essen 2015 that we're excited for. Of course, there's a lot of games that we're excited for. We just decided to keep the list relatively brief.
Right.
And we chose 7 games just because we wanted to be special.
Right.
Everybody else does 10 or 5, so we did 7.
Yeah, 5 doesn't seem like enough.
Yeah, 10 seems like too much.
It's so pedestrian.
Yeah, exactly. We're rebels. Well, anyway, if you liked this video, please be sure to go to the website at www.flamingdicreviews.com. We write articles there. We have videos, reviews, all kinds of stuff. So just click the button, put in your email, and you'll get an alert every time a new video or article is posted there.
Also, go to the Facebook page and give us a like there. Follow us. You'll find links to the website, to the articles and stuff. Also, we do giveaways for board games and card games, and all the information for all that is on the Facebook page as well.
Yeah, it's on the website and the Facebook. Another thing to do, if you enjoyed this video, is please be sure to subscribe and like this video on YouTube. Again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Have a good one.
So the next game on the list is 504. It's published by Stronghold Games. 504 is a very unique...
Sorry, I was just thinking about the Dead Space. Just do it again. Start over.
What?